हेलो देयर एंड वेलकम टू हिस्ट्री सू। आई एम नॉर्थ इंडियन एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर कि अगर आप भी एक नॉर्थ इंडियन हो देन समटाइम्स यू मस्ट हैव फेल्ट लिटिल एंग्शियस और अनकंफर्टेबल while traveling to some South Indian cities because of your ethnicity or language. Telling from my personal experience, once I went to Hyderabad on a short trip with my family. एयरपोर्ट पर मुझे भूख लगी तो मैंने सोचा कुछ ऑर्डर कर लेता हूँ। पता था साउथ में लैंग्वेज लोचा है, so I decided to order in English. But still, the shop owner looked at me with such a furious eyes. It seemed as if he wanted to get up from his chair and slap me hard. Probably वो गुस्से में होगा, but I still believe that he did not like the language I used. शायद वो चाहता था कि मैं तेलुगु में ऑर्डर करूं. And I believe that incidences like these are commonly experienced by Northeast, like asking for chuttas from an angry auto wala from Bangalore, or calling your South Indian roommate Tarun instead of Tharun. You never know when you are inviting some South Indian's wrath. In my belief, this type of dislike is kind of unidirectional. That is, the way South India hates North, in the similar way, North does not hate South. हालांकि नॉर्थ इंडियंस आर लिटिल ignorant towards South Indian culture, but still they don't hate South Indians by their gut. This opinion is heavily subjective in nature, but I still have evidences to prove that it's true. And the biggest evidence is that North Indians not only love but embrace watching South Indian movies. Bollywood cast male South Indian actors not as side role but as lead protagonist. And recently, UP government has launched an educational model where learning South Indian language is included on the curriculum. But on the other hand, South Indian actors and politicians give regular hate speeches against Hindi wala. और ये हेट साउथ इंडियन सोसाइटी में इतना डीपली पेनिट्रेट कर चुका है दैट एक्टर्स और पॉलिटिशियंस हिंदी स्पीकर्स को गाली दिए बगैर सो भी नहीं पाते हैं. बट ऐसा है क्यों? आई नो दैट रीसेंट माइग्रेशन पैटर्न्स इज वन ऑफ द मेजर रीजन फॉर इट, बट स्टिल देर आर फ्यू हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट्स जिनके इम्प्रिंट्स हमारे इंडियन सोसाइटी में इस तरह के हेट और रेसिज्म को जन्म देते हैं. उन्हें जाने बगैर वी कैन नॉट एस्टेब्लिश यूनिटी ऑफ दिस कंट्री. So let's take a look on those historical and anthropological facts. The first and foremost reason is geography of India. If you notice Indian maps closely, you would find a mountain range running straight through the middle of country, splitting our nations into two halves. Well, this mountain range is called Vindhyachal or Vindhyas. Now, why this mountain range is so important? It's because, according to anthropological theories, किसी भी रीजन में कल्चरल डिफरेंस का एक मेजर रीजन होता है अ बिग माउंटेन रेंज which blocks the interflow of people from two different geographical landmass, resulting into two entirely different cultures. और यही काम किया है विंध्याचल ने इंडियन केस में, जहां पर नॉर्थ इंडियन एंड साउथ इंडियन आइडेंटिटीज डेवलप्ड सेपरेटली. It almost acted like a firewall in Indian computer, which stopped the North Indian notification coming to South India. To an extent that when whole North India was suffering through Islamic conquests, kingdoms like Vijayanagar under Dev Krishna Rai protected and encouraged Indian art and architecture. Hence, majority of time, South India was unaware about political upheavals taking place in North India, which became a reason for their political isolation. और इसका एक बहुत बड़ा एविडेंस ये भी है, जब मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक ने अपनी कैपिटल को दिल्ली से दौलताबाद शिफ्ट करना चाहा, then it became an utter failure because he could not handle the invasions from north, and ultimately he had to reverse his Daulatabad Express, reshifting his capital to Delhi. The next reason I'm going to talk about is Aryan invasion theory. Well, it was a great historical prank that British played on us, enlarging the already existing cleavage between north and south. This was given by some seriously intelligent scholar who goes by the name Max Muller. आई गेस इसको बड़ा सा ब्रेन ट्यूमर होगा, बिकॉज जब इससे पूछा गया कि भाई तेरी इस बकवास सी थ्योरी का एविडेंस क्या है, तो इसने बोला दैट इट्स सेल्फ एविडेंट. वेल, ही क्लियरली न्यू व्हाट ही वाज डूइंग. He wanted to create a hierarchical division on minds of Indians, where he claimed that some people from Central Asia came and conquered the Indian subcontinent, shifting the natural inhabitants, Dravidians, to southern part of the nation. He claimed that North Indians are superior because of their fair skin, sharp nose, and tall stature. Well, according to this theory, Kangna Ranaut must have been smarter than Sundar Pichai. But it's not, because this theory is completely bullshit. And this has been proved wrong by the latest geographical evidence that has been given by ISRO's satellite imagery, which showed the existence of Saraswati River. Now, I want to tell you why this river is so important. because this river has been mentioned in Rig Veda, which were claimed to be written by Aryans. But this river is much older than Aryan invasion, which completely debunks this theory. The last reason for this great divide is language and politics. We all know that in some recent years, our country has become a circus of language, जहाँ हर दिन लैंग्वेज के नाम पर किसी न किसी की पिटाई होती ही रहती है. Specifically speaking, how South Indians hate Hindi almost like a Bollywood villain who is going to kill their mother tongue. And this hate stems from a very peculiar reasons. The first reason is nature of language. Now, most of the Northeast can never understand the obsession of South India with their natural language. Because most of the so called aggressive Hindi walas or not even know alphabets or Varnmala of their very own language. एलिट स्पेसेस में तो हिंदी बोलने पर यू आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ गवार और इस बात का अंदाजा इससे भी लगाया जा सकता है दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द सो कॉल्ड बॉलीवुड स्टार्स कैन नॉट इवन रीड स्क्रिप्ट्स इन देवनागरी. On the other hand, South India has completely opposite in this subject, जहां पर South Indian superstars respect their language. This key difference exists because Hindi is more like a modified language, which is component from all of the languages like Sanskrit, Farsi, and even Turkish. On the other hand, South Indian languages like Tamil are very pure in themselves, which have undergone a very little fundamental change, where grammar rules and vocab is still very intact. और इस बात को हम इससे भी समझ सकते हैं that people from Tamil Nadu can still read and understand Sangam literature like their normal textbooks. And this literature was written nearly 2000 years ago. On the other hand, North Indians cannot even recite one shlok of Bhagavad Gita which was originally written in Sanskrit. Hence, this purity of language becomes a reason that why South Indians are so keen in protecting their mother tongue and don't want to learn Hindi. The next reason is function and politics of language. See, language is not a random permutation of signs, but it's rather a medium of social identification, जिससे आप एक sense of belonging feel करते हो. And anthropological studies suggest that if you are a monolingual, that means you speak a single language, then there are high chances कि आप अपने culture और region को लेकर ज़्यादा कट्टर रहोगे. On the other hand, being multilingual makes you more fluid and open to other cultures. And South Indian political parties understand this very well because they know हिंदी बोलने से एक कॉमन नेशनल आइडेंटिटी कल्मिनेट होगी जिससे नेशनल पार्टीज लाइक बीजेपी एंड कांग्रेस विल बेनिफिट. इसलिए साउथ इंडिया में अपनी पकड़ बनाए रखने के लिए इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू स्टॉप हिंदी इम्पोजिशन because regional parties thrive on regional identities which come from regional language, while national parties thrive on national identity which comes from Hindi.